Imagine being able to end the struggles that you experience in your everyday life. One great way to do that is by exploring and discovering the mysteries of the sacred feminine. That's exactly what we're going to talk about today with our guest Misa Hopkins, Reverend Misa Hopkins of the New Dream Foundation. And the New Dream Foundation is dedicated to awakening through the sacred feminine. So I want to thank you for being here today to answer some of our questions about the sacred feminine and its significance in our everyday lives.
Oh, thank you. It's such an important topic for our world right now to restore balance.
It is. So what is the sacred feminine? And we'll get to how important it is. But let's start with
Okay.
What is the sacred feminine?
Well, think of these qualities. Think of stillness.
Mm-hmm.
Think of intuition, receptivity, compassion. It's associated with the darkness, or think of space. That's another way. And it is, in its essence, the capacity to limitlessly, lovingly hold all of the potential for life.
Mm-hmm.
That is the sacred feminine in its essence.
Why is it so important in today's world?
Well, let's contrast it with the sacred masculine and what's happening with the sacred masculine energy on the planet right
Okay.
now, and then the sacred feminine makes more sense. The masculine is exactly the opposite. This is about action. This is, rather than a compassionate love, it's an ecstatic, blissful love. This is about expression, knowledge, light. It is the endless and limitless loving capacity to express life, in contrast to holding life.
Mm-hmm.
So when the sacred masculine is like at its, is not in balance, it's expressing, but not in balance with the sacred feminine, we see some symptoms here on earth that look like this: achieving ourselves to death.
Mm-hmm.
And we know a lot of people that have achieved ourselves right out of jobs, into hospitals, out of work because we can't work because our bodies won't allow us to. That's where there's too much emphasis on achievement, not enough on rest and contemplation. We tend to be more logical in our decision making, and we ignore intuitive wisdom. That gets us into trouble if, in fact, we've chosen a logical argument that might sound right,
Mm-hmm.
but doesn't feel right, doesn't align with who we are. Then we make decisions that create problems. When we act without careful contemplation and consideration, look at our planet and the amount of stuff we have in our landfills that is not going to be biodegradable for a long, long, long time. That comes from acting without reflecting carefully upon how our choices may impact our lives. We tend to be more exclusive in terms of this is right and this is wrong. So think of light moving through space. It has a direct path. Anything outside of that path may not make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So the feminine is holding it all, but the sacred masculine has chosen a course and is moving on that course, so anything outside of it must be wrong.
Mm.
And that's why we need the sacred feminine, to balance that perspective. We also see beliefs like the end justifies the means, as though action is moving to a destination, and therefore where we are going, as if there is an end, is more important than the experience of the moment and life itself. So the sacred masculine, in order to be in its healthiest, needs the balance of the sacred feminine. We need it personally, and we need it planetarily.
Mm. So it's in a way, it's another lens through which to look at the idea of the classic doing versus being.
Yes, exactly. It is.
Mm-hmm. The journey is more important than the goal.
Sometimes we get caught in that. Yeah, that's we forget that the journey is equal to the goal.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So the sacred feminine is not merely about or for women.
Not at all. No, we're talking about energies that exist in both men and women. So certainly you have a capacity for stillness and contemplation as much as you do for action, and so do I.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So why is it that we struggle so much?
Oh, that's such a great question. We struggle because we are afraid there's not enough love or no love.
Mm-hmm.
And so we interpret that experience of pain. We experience not enough love as pain. And it's a manifestation of our fears. And so we become depressed, we become angry, we become sad, all kinds of manifestations. We feel unworthy, we feel abandoned. All of these are manifestations of that fundamental fear. When we get into that fearful space, what we tend to do is try to fix somebody else, like you, so that I'll feel better. Or we try to fix the world so that I'll feel better. And some of us will do it internally and get really upset with ourselves, and we try to fix ourselves through our frustration, which really does more harm than good. Most of us really don't want to be fixed. Right. And we particularly don't want to be fixed by someone else, or someone else thinking we're not good enough, and we have a difficult time fixing ourselves. So it's a way in which we try to make things better that usually doesn't work. When, on the other hand, we are witnessed as we are, in our suchness, with compassion, that I get that you do a lot of wonderful good in the world. I understand that you've been challenged. I understand you have choices you regret. I understand you have choices you're proud of. And just witness you as you are. What happens is that the fear diminishes, because now we are feeling loved. And there is enough love. And so we respond to life differently. When we feel that love, just being held unconditionally in our suchness, there is a natural desire in which the sacred masculine wakes up and wants to take action from that love, rather than from the fear. It wants to act from the love. And so our choices are different, and they're healthier and they're more pleasing for us. So for many of us, the missing component in our journey of awakening and awareness is compassion. When we become compassion, then we become the change that we are seeking. And so this is the ingredient. This is the missing ingredient for ourselves and for the planet right now.
So how exactly do you see the sacred feminine as ending our struggles?
Oh, that's great. All right, think of a child. And you've gotten hurt. The children tend to stretch beyond their reasonable limits frequently, so they get hurt a lot. And you're a little child and you're running to your mom, and the first thing you want is
compassion.
Absolutely. You want a big hug, big love. You don't want to hear what you should have done differently.
Right.
Not yet. After there's enough love, now you're ready for the Band-Aid, and if you thought about doing it this way, you might not get hurt.
Right.
Now I'm ready to consider change. So the first thing we need is compassion, and in that, our fears dissolve. There is enough love. We are able to change our course of direction and our action, and we feel fulfilled, and the struggle is ended.
You're offering a series of video teachings about the sacred feminine, the sacred masculine, and the divine union. What can people expect to experience or learn or get out of that? What do those videos look like?
We'll spend some time in the sacred feminine learning how to hold properly. There are ways to hold that allow the energy to emerge more freely, and there are ways that we can hold where we're just limiting it in a new way. So we'll learn how to hold properly. We'll learn how to hold ourselves, our fears, and our desires. We'll learn how to hold others, because of course they're people we care about, and we're concerned about their lives, so we want to know how to hold them and their experiences properly. And individuals who may be coming across to us as an enemy or someone we're in conflict with. There are slightly different ways to hold someone in that particular energetic relationship. We'll learn how to hold archetypes, which is really important if you are a sensitive or an empath, because you may be feeling archetypal energy from the planet itself, and so we learn how to hold that kind of energy. We'll learn how to feel safe in the unknown, because to many the sacred feminine feels quite unfamiliar. We'll learn clear distinctions and the wonders about the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine. And we'll explore what it means when we are conscious of those energies in union, or what I call divine union. And it's gift to us in our process of awakening. We'll also learn what to do when we get stuck, because most of us do in our journey of awakening. At some point we feel confused or stuck or limited. So we're going to learn how to be with those limits in a way that free us into experiencing our limitless selves.
Well, I'm certainly not familiar with any other resources that approach this subject matter like this at all, and especially so accessible and deep, as I know people have come to experience you and your work. So thank you so much for making it available. Folks, if you're ready to end your struggle and find more balance and serenity in your lives, you can register today to start receiving these videos at newdreamfoundation.com. Thanks for being with us today, and thank you, Misa.
Thank you.